Valve puts the gears to the rest of the game industry with a very consumer-friendly refund policy. Let me know how this affects you in the comments below, but first, my opinion. I'm Tarmack, and this is Feature Creep. As we all know, you can't return video games. Well, at least you couldn't. The only returns that were possible were in the retail space, with unopened returning for cash and opened returning and exchanging like for like. Then in August 2013, Electronic Arts, of all places, put up a refund policy for EA games on Origin. It was a pretty good return policy, but fairly limited as not all games in the Origin platform are done by EA. Then in December 2013, CD Projekt Red platform GOG.com rolled out a 30-day support-driven return policy, along with a 14-day no-questions-asked policy so long as the game was never downloaded. This, of course, was due to the no DRM products that they offer. So now Valve has put in place a very interesting refund policy. It reads as follows. You can have a refund for any reason up to and including the game going on sale for a cheaper price within 14 days of purchasing the title. Game won't run on your computer, title is buggy as hell or barely a game. The only exception is that you can't have played more than 2 hours of the title before requesting a refund. You can also get refunds at any time on pre-orders prior to the game releasing. The money will be sent back to your initial method of payment or your Steam wallet at your leisure. And this applies to nearly any purchase made on Steam. Many people have called for a proper and fair return policy. Back in January, I made the same arguments that with digital content and player usage tracking being what it is, there's no excuse for not having a return policy that's reasonable outside of basic greed. But the thing is, there's more to this story than just returning games that are crap. In the retail marketplace, a fair return policy does a number of things for the retailer. For 2014, the average percent of returns on total sales was around 9%, and about 0.5% were considered fraudulent. This seems really high at first glance, doesn't it? But how about some survey numbers to back up the idea that more people make purchases when a solid return policy is present? According to a 2014 study done by UPS on the online shopper mentality, 20% of those studied would still buy from an online source that had no return policy. A costless return policy where the consumer doesn't pay return shipping or any other such nonsense was 82%. This is an enormous difference and is the entire reason that return policies exist. They're actually sales boosts. Providing buyer confidence that they will be taken care of after purchase dramatically increases the chances that people will buy from you. Obviously, a straight parallel cannot quite be drawn with the video game market. Steam has the lion's share of the market and provides some of the best side perks available as well, but why not a return policy until now? I suspect that the market share of others was starting to encroach on their territory a little bit. And now we also have a story on DSO Gaming about abuses in the system being directed at some indie developers. They showed a bunch of graphs claiming that the refund system is being abused because somewhere in the area of 13 sales in the last 18 were refunded. The thing is that this flies in the face of basic buyer statistics. Many stores worldwide have a no-questions-asked 30-day refund policy on physical goods. And as I mentioned earlier, only 0.5% of all sales are deemed to be returns done in an abusive fashion. People are generally pleasant and nice, so to claim that a jump from 0.5% to over 70% are abusing the system is nonsensical. It seems more likely that people are perceiving the cost of small indie titles to be simply not worthwhile, which essentially means that the indie game purchases stats are skewed by not having had a return policy until now. I do have one concern on the indie front now, though, which is that the system enables trolling. It's entirely possible for a coordinated group like some mass raid from 4chan to buy a game in huge numbers and force a mass refund afterwards. This would be incredibly disheartening to an indie dev pouring their heart and soul into a game. I don't know how Valve can hold off this potential problem, so we'll have to wait and see if the issue ever actually presents itself. I'm pretty stoked by the policy personally. I think it holds developers to account, fixes a lot of the Steam curation problems because now when a game is crap, people can get their money back, but the real change is something that has been building since the 2013 EA refund policy. You could never refund PC video games simply because knowing whether or not they were installed and played was impossible. In fact, I'd almost expect that GameStop and other physical retailers may stop carrying PC games entirely. If you can buy online and have more protection than in-store, why would you ever buy in-store? And that is the crux of this whole situation. Steam is going to see a very substantial sales increase because of this policy, and if statistical buyer patterns work on Steam, sales need only increase by 9% to make up for returns. How many times were you this close to buying a title but weren't sure you were going to like it? Well, now you can test and find out. It seems logical that returns right now are quite a bit higher than they will be long-term, as many people are submitting historical returns. I did one myself to see how the system worked on a game that I'd spent a whole 14 minutes in that I bought 4 months ago. Steam accepted it, likely due to the newness of the policy. Other than EA Origin titles and the limited GOG refund because of no DRM, we have gone decades with no refund policies on PC games, so I'd call for patience. This policy is going to dramatically help great quality titles by increasing overall sales across the Steam platform by raising the profile of Steam even higher than it already is. And that, my friends, is good news. Have you used the refund system yet? What are your experiences? Feature Creep is a regular show every Monday, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single episode of the weekly show. That's all I have to say. Tarmack out.